the asset price bubble, as like I said, we're always in a bubble. It's just at what stage are we in? And really it refers to the impact of monetary easing by the Federal Reserve and the central banks. So the central banks all around the world have been easing monetary policy. And this is, going back to my 2008 example, this is what I first discovered that's the problem. When the central banks create more money, asset prices go up. When they reduce the supply of money, asset prices go down. Pretty simple. And we can see this throughout history. Now, before central bankers were able to print themselves money, what we would see new discoveries or pockets of what was money at the time, which would be gold or silver. So, for example, you had Spain or Portugal going out on expeditions to find more gold and silver. It's how they found the New World, right? The North American continent. And they went to, I believe, Peru, which has like the greatest silver deposits in the world. And they started extracting all that silver and bringing it back to Spain and to Europe. And all of that new money supply coming into the markets created massive inflation. Because remember, we don't want money. What we do is we want the things that money buys us. We want the goods and services. So what we really want is goods and services. Money is just the means to get that. And so we'll hold money until we've decided what it is that we want with it or at that time. And so basically what we really want is goods and services. So you divide all the goods and services in the world by all the money in the world. And so when you increase the money supply, then the price of those goods and services goes up. That's the way it works. If you decrease the supply of money, then the price of the goods and services go down, because it's always a ratio, because money is just a placeholder for those goods and services. So when the Fed and other central banks around the world increase the money supply, asset prices go up. And then lots of activity go around trying to tap into that. So for example, home prices go up. Well, that means that people want to go buy homes because I want to speculate on the price of homes. So I'm going to go, what we saw through 2008, or really 2005, 6, 7, leading into that, was people going and standing in line at track homes. And they're going to buy 2, 3 homes because in a year from now, they can sell those for more. And because now people are buying 3 homes, then we need more people to buy homes. So now we need more contractors, more framers, more roofers. And those roofers need to work on more houses. And those roofers are trying to expand their operations. They're buying more trucks and they're hiring more people. And like I said, they have to buy more trucks. And so because there's more trucks, then Ford is building more trucks. So then they have to order some more supplies and they're building new manufacturing hubs. And so just that one little increase in money supply, which increased the supply of the price of houses, has this trickle down effect that causes everybody to overbuild on false demand. The demand was only there because they increased the supply of the money, which I guess would be okay, because what's happening is the goods and services are trying to catch up. But just as the goods and services are catching up to the supply of money, then whoosh, they reduce the supply of money, and all of a sudden we have too many goods and services. So these contractors in this hypothetical example, well, it's not really hypothetical, it's exactly what happened, but in this example, as the money supply increased, as the asset prices went up, then everybody's rushing to increase the supply of those assets. Remember, prices are the equilibrium of supply and demand. So because when the money supply went up, the demand went up. So everybody in this home building niche, all the way down to Ford making trucks for these home builders, as the demand went up because the money supply went up, then everyone tried to increase the supply. But then as the supply is catching up, more builders, more trucks, more homes, as the supply is catching up, whoosh, they rug pull everybody and pull the demand away. And now that poor home builder bought all these trucks on credit, and now he's got no jobs to go work on. And how does he keep making his payment on all those trucks? This window manufacturer for homes just opened up this whole new facility, this whole new warehouse facility to get windows out faster for all these new homes. And now all the demand's gone. And now how do they employ all those people? And how do they pay for those facilities? And so when you constantly change the supply of money, the market's trying to react. But the problem is when someone's artificially manipulating it and they're not telling you what's happening, there's no way for you to plan on that. So either asset prices continue to just go through the roof because we don't bring new supply on, or we try to bring supply on, but then we have to watch out for the rug pull. And this makes me so mad. This is one of the things that gives me the motivation to continue what I do, because the Fed is purposely trying to bankrupt you and your family. If you don't want to play this game, you can choose not to. Look, I'm not going to expand my business to keep up with this supply and demand. I won't. I'm not going to play the game. Well, the problem is you're going to fall behind because prices are going up so fast. If you're not growing your business and your revenue to go with it, then you get left behind. Inflation eats into your cost of living and into your quality of life. So you're forced to play the game. You have to. You can either get left behind, and that's not good for you, or you can play the game. And so then you do try to grow your business and you do try to grow your employees and your equipment and things like that to keep up with it. So now you're taking on debt and you're trying to build your business and you're doing all these things to keep up with it. And then they just rug pull you and they pull it out. And now you're bankrupt. As I drive down my downtown street and I see all of these businesses, I just feel bad for them because I know most of them aren't paying attention, just like I wasn't paying attention. All they know is there's more demand for their goods and services than there ever has been. And so they're rapidly trying to scale to fulfill that demand. But the problem is, like I said, they're not paying attention like I wasn't paying attention. And they don't know that the rug pull is coming and it's going to wipe them all out. That's what the everything bubble is. So the bubble is coming. Now, we saw the term of the everything bubble really kind of come out in 2005. There was an article written by Michael J. Burry, and he used it to describe the housing bubble. You might know who Michael J. Burry is. He was the author of the book that went on to create the movie that basically depicted this whole housing bubble collapse. It's called The Big Short. And Michael Burry got famous because, he was the guy featured in the movie, and he was the one that put this big short bet saying that the housing market was going to crash. At the time, in 2005, he wrote this article for the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank's economic letter titled, quote, The Everything Bubble. And he argued that the United States was in the midst of a housing bubble that was being driven by low interest rates, easy credit, and speculation. Exactly what I said, right? When credit is easy and cheap, people take more of it. And so, because we're in a debt-based monetary system, more money's out there. So he warned that was happening. He said that it was unsustainable and that it would eventually burst, leading to a financial crisis, and he was right. Now, I want to point out that he was right, and so, of course, he's now famous because of the movie and the book that was written and made about him. But I do want to say that he ended up being proven right, but he was wrong for a long time. And the reason why that matters is that throughout this process, he was buying these credit default swaps, and he had his investment fund, he had all these investors' money. But he was wrong for so long, he was losing all kinds of money, and his investors were pissed. They wanted their money back, and they even started suing him. Like, he was so wrong for so long, and most people that were like him weren't able to withstand that, and they all had to pull out and just they took the loss. He managed to push through and stay long enough for it to eventually come true, and of course now he's famous for doing that. So that's about the bubble, right? The bubble can last for way longer than we think it can. And Michael Burry is living proof of that.